So I just wanted to give my quick feedback on the dungeon now that I have 3 runs under my belt and half of another run. Um, we'll start with the good, which is the first time experience. I think is great. I think the blind run through experience is fantastic. I think that the opening's fine. I think that the prison break is fun and unique. I don't see a problem with it. I think that the traps in the hallways are nice touches. I think that the fake chests are a fun bit, if you will, especially with them being randomized. Um, I think both boss fights are fine. Is there stuff that I wish was a little different? Sure. I very much enjoy the cleansing mechanic in the final boss. I think that is very unique for the game and was unexpected. And also, if you pay attention, you know what to do immediately. We didn't pay attention. We had no idea that it said it in the feed. I figured it out on accident. But the game very much tells you what to do, so I think that it's very good. I think for a first experience, or a blind experience rather, I think it is a very solid dungeon. I have no real bad things to say. Um, in terms of replayability, I'm sure it'll get a little bit boring doing some of the in between stuff, but I mean that just comes with the territory. I didn't really mind doing everything again on the second playthrough when we knew where to go, and we're still kind of looking for if we had missed anything the first time. Um, and then there's the bad, which is the solo stuff, which is the bosses still are all extremely tanky. Are they as tanky as the ones in Ghost? I have no idea. I don't know the exact comparison. If you're bringing back solo op, to me that says, hey, the last time we brought this back, it's because we knew we were bringing in a dungeon that you were going to take a while to kill by yourself, so we wanted to give you a leg up. If you're putting something in the artifact to help players instead of just putting something in the activity itself, that is a problem to me. That is bad game design. That is dumb. And even if you're not expecting people to use solo op, the bosses have too much health. Make them scale per the fire team instead of just having standard health bars. Stop doing it. It continues to get worse, and I understand it's because we're getting stronger, but understand that not everybody wants to use the best stuff, and B, it is very frustrating for a normal player to have to 10 phase a boss when it's not particularly hard to live in the room, it's just long and tedious. I'm speaking as somebody who, for Ghost Solo, it took me about 4 hours to do my run because each of the bosses they just kept going and going and going. And because I wasn't worried about dying, but that also meant that I wasn't doing a ton of damage. And I know it's a trade off. I get it's a risk and reward. I'm not asking to go back to Shattered being able to one phase bosses. That's not what I'm asking for. I just wish that there was more of a mechanically intense situation going on rather than damage always being the only problem. And the other bad, and the final bad, and the only other thing I'm going to say is you made a dungeon that was about raiding a fortress, a really cool place, could have a bunch of cool ideas, and these are the 2 emblems you spat out. This is dog shit. This is absolute dog shit. This is the worst. In terms of dungeons, these are easily the 2 worst emblems you've ever made. Telling somebody to go solo flawless this dungeon for this as a reward, I'm sure some people somewhere, I'm sure somebody likes this. I'm not trying to insult those people. This looks like dog shit. You could have made either of these a fortress emblem like the badge symbol is, and you chose not to. You made them both Scorn inspired, and I think it was a bad choice. I think it was terrible, and these both look extremely low effort, if I'm being honest, and I just don't think they look good. And I'm very disappointed. And I'm saying that as somebody who I didn't particularly care about the Ghost of the Deep album, but I can see why people liked it. I didn't particularly care about Spires, but I can see why people liked it. I don't know why anybody would like either of these. One of these is a fallen symbol, which I understand is Scorn, and the other's literally a Scorn symbol. These are terrible. Do better. And that's my feedback on the dungeon. I think for a first time, like I said, which is the thing that I think matters the most is your first time through a new piece of content, endgame content, which obviously replayability also matters, but I'm not really worried about that. I think it is a good dungeon, and that's my main point. But also, these emblems are dog shit.